Terry, my first question is, forget about basketball right now. I want to know, how has your adjustment been to Phoenix, especially your family?
They've adjusted pretty well. They like the heat a little bit, so that's been good. I think it's always, from a kid's standpoint, when they come to a new school, it takes a little bit of adjustment. They've been excited about coming down here.
What has surprised you about this team, and what has you maybe losing a little bit of sleep after the first few weeks?
I think everybody's been really good as far as embracing what I've talked about, and they've asked questions, which is always good. I think it's great when you get players in dialogue about what type of schemes you run in and try to, talk through that process. The question mark is always our ability, like most teams, is transition D for us, and floor balance. Those are the things that kind of keep me up at night.
Now, the challenge obviously is your main three. When you talk of Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, and Shaq, these guys have been great players throughout their career, but it seems like now you want them to really emphasize defense, maybe a little bit more than they have in their career. How does that come in?
It's come on pretty good. I mean, I think, Steve has been so blessed to be with teams where, up-tempo has been their number one goal. I think Shaq has had experience of playing more of a team type of defensive schemes. And Amari, I don't think has ever really faced that many situations where that's been something that they've been focused on. From day one to now, they've just, improved so much, and I think that's just going to continue to grow as far as their ability to read the situations and get better and better at it.
Now, I remember those great Blazer teams you were on. Matter of fact, you broke my heart a few times. But, I mean, one of the most talented teams I've ever seen. But I thought the key was you controlled tempo. You really weren't that guy that wanted to push it all the time. You bought what Rick Adelman wanted on the court, and that's what obviously you're asking Steve to do now in terms of controlling tempo.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I mean, we're still going to push it, but we want our defense to allow us to push it. So we want to get stops, and then we get out and push it. And then on makes, we're going to run more sets. I think you'll see that more than they've probably seen in the past.
Yeah, and the key obviously is who you put around those guys. Grant Hill, I thought, had a very good year last year, and you have Raja Bell. And then you have another nucleus of Boris, Leandro, Matt Barnes, and Louis Amundsen, who's playing well, and then your draft picks. So that's 10 guys. I mean, that's a 10-man rotation, which is tough to get to. So you have a tough job ahead of you, obviously, in trying to figure out.
Well, I mean, at times I got to kind of figure out how to juggle everybody's minutes. But it's nice to look down the bench and be able to, have the luxury of calling the guy and knowing that he's capable of stepping in and impacting the game.
And finally, when you talk about this team, we talk about a team that's won 55, 60 some odd games, but they still have not gotten the prize.
Yeah.
And if we get off to a slow start, fine, but the ultimate prize at the end of the year in April, that we're playing well as a unit going into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's going to be very important that the guys realize that, our starting point and our finishing point, there's going to be a lot of growing in between that. I think whenever you put in a new system at both ends of the floor, there's going to be a lot of growth. But I think our guys have really done a good job of grasping things, and they've shown a willingness to work at it every day in practice. So there's no doubt in my mind that, as we get better and more comfortable and that trust builds at both ends of the floor, the fans are going to be able to see our team really play at a very high level.